I'm pissed off. Upset. Mad, whatever. Absolutely befitting IWF. Pulling stunts like they did in North Arlington. Crooked referee. Faulty opponents. I should have a tag team championship around my belt right now. That is the reality of the situation. Yet here we are. I'm sitting practically naked without a championship around me. That's cool. That's great. Contractually, I'm obligated to appear in New Brunswick on December 10th. That's the reality of the situation. As far as I'm concerned, everything that's happened in the past, completely irrelevant. And my message to whoever I'm facing, I don't know. They don't tell me. My path to the heavyweight championship starts the 10th. Didn't start back then. It starts now. You're in my way. Just know that. Just know that you're in my way. New Brunswick, I don't want to perform in front of you. I have to. You're lucky. It begins there. You get to watch it. Good for you. Buy a ticket. I don't care. See you there.
How you living? Spooky Lou Carpenbarger coming at you again with another exciting episode of WrestleRoni. Joined today by a young up-and-comer in the business, brand new to the scene. I'm excited. Ladies and gentlemen, we have the one and only Jason Hendrix. How you doing, my man?
Not too bad, brother. How you doing?
I'm doing great. We've got you on the show. We're doing big things. Both of us looks like we're doing well in life, so I'm glad to have you on, brother.
Yep. Hey, that's what it's all about, man. Glad to be here.
Glad to have you. I'll let the folks know how I met you. It was a crazy Friday night at the VCW, and they send you out there for a pre-show match before the pay-per-view goes live, and I'm watching on the monitor. I said, oh, I've never seen this kid before, but I am intrigued. So you come through the curtain, I introduce myself and tell you good match, and I'd like to think we hit it off, and here we are. I have an eye for talent, and you, sir, I think are one of the next big things in the business, so I'm glad to have you on here. What was the VCW experience like for you, live on Fight TV?
You know what? It was really cool. I got the ins to go. My buddy Christian Noir said, hey, why don't you come by the VCW show? I work there. We can probably get you a match. And, you know, I'm always trying to be in a ring right now, so absolutely ate that up. Came to the show. I got to say, wrestling can be a very mixed bag with where you end up promotion-wise, and I was very impressed with the presentation. The stage, you know, obviously it being streamed live on Fight TV was cool. Funny enough, I had no idea that they were streaming anything with a camera in my face. It just didn't register to me whatsoever. But yeah, definitely thought VCW was a very impressive promotion. And as a WVU student, I love to see West Virginia popping off with the independent wrestling.
Same. And for the folks that don't know, I'm glad you brought that up. You're currently going to college at WVU, so that's opened up some more opportunities for you, because whenever I looked you up, I said, this dude's wrestling out in Jersey, and he's in West Virginia. What's going on here? So, how did you get into wrestling out there in Jersey, training and everything?
Yeah, so I started in June of this year, 2022, out at the IWF Wrestling School with Kevin Knight. Trained for a few months there, and then when the school year hit, it was time to go back to West Virginia. Had to figure something out. So we ended up back in Morgantown, and I found 35, 40 minutes away, Uniontown, Pennsylvania, Stronghold Wrestling Academy. Train under Brandon K there, and oh my gosh, it is just amazing.
Nice.
The training is top notch. The talent there is top notch. It is full of studs, and I promise you, you're going to see a lot of Brandon K guys on the scene very soon. And you do already, but there's going to be more.
Hell yeah. Okay. And I was thinking about this interview, and I said, what makes this guy stick out? And don't take this the wrong way, because I promise you it's a compliment. The indie scene needs more pretty boy sons of bitches, cocky ass heels, and I don't know, man. That's where I'm at with you. And like I say, you made me a fan with one match just watching your match in the back there. So I dig the gimmick. I dig the look. Obviously, you're taking care of yourself. It seems like you got your head about you. So props to you on that.
I appreciate that, man. And, you do have a point. There's a level with the indie scene where you have to differentiate yourself from being an indie wrestler and a professional.
Mm-hmm.
And a big part of that is, taking care of yourself, making sure that your physique is where it needs to be, making sure your look is that of a wrestler.
Mm-hmm.
And the right guys, the good guys that I've, been fortunate enough to learn from, all do that. So I take my time really focusing on that stuff. I go to the gym 6 days a week. I hit the tanning salon 3 days a week. So it's all part of doing what you need to do to get to the top, because at the end of the day, my goal is to absolutely be at the top of this business and to be consistently on TV on a weekly basis.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah. And until then, promoters can be happy with you bringing a few extra ladies out to the shows.
Hey, I'll do my best, man. I'll do my best.
Or hey, it's 2022. I'm an old cat. If there's some men wanting to check you out as well, whatever. As long as you're bringing people out and they're excited in one way or another, let's do it up. Let's do it up. I see you've got a Rise coming up as well. Going to be working for Rise up in PA, right?
Yeah, I have been working the Rise. I've worked for Rise twice so far.
Okay.
Most recently last weekend. Always a blast, and that is just an incredible promotion. And I think in 2023, 2024, you're going to see that really take off as something that people are seriously watching on a consistent basis, because a lot of the strong old talent under Brandon K funnel into Rise. That's a consistent thing. And just about everyone they have working there is amazing, from the talent to the management.
Nice.
Chris LaRusso's booking, Brandon K training, and then just the whole roster is just full with good people who are passionate about this industry. So I couldn't be more complimentary of Rise.
Hell yeah. I've been a fan of Rise for years now. One of my favorite indie wrestlers of all time, still killing it right now, Lee Moriarty. I've always liked that guy. He's the one that got me into Rise. Love me some Pittsburgh and PA wrestling. So good to see you're doing good things up there in Rise. I'm happy for you, man.
Hey, appreciate that, brother. Lee Moriarty, there you go. Another Brandon K guy right there. So,
There you go.
as I said, producing studs.
Obviously, the proof is in the pudding. Proof's in the pudding. And recently, let's go back to my home promotion. Recently, you made your RSW debut in one of our signature fire ass four ways. Go into that a little bit for me. What was that experience like for you?
Yeah, so after my VCW match, I had Tim Cross, the booker there.
Mm-hmm.
He came up to me and said, "Hey, man, like, I liked what she did out there today, and I'd like to have you on my show tomorrow. Are you doing anything?" I was not, so figured, let's go. Got up there, New Kensington, Pennsylvania, and they threw me in the four-way match. I enjoyed the match. I had a good time back there. Another promotion where everyone backstage was, a bunch of good guys.
Mm-hmm.
And it was cool because it had a very underground feel to it, which I think is definitely a really cool aspect of independent wrestling that you can find, a kind of a place like that has that underground feel.
For sure. We definitely got that going for us. I promise you that. And they had you in there with No Bullshit Gannon Green, Brother Duzan, and the frat daddy himself. What'd you make of these characters?
All good guys. Had a good time working with everybody. Um, I met Brother Duzan and Frat Daddy that day, but I met Gannon Green the day before at the VCW show.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I thought we went out there and put on a good show.
Oh, for sure, for sure. All four of you killed it. One of my favorite matches of the night, for sure. And let's work backwards a little bit. Like I say, seems like you got your head about you and everything. When did you decide, hey, this pro wrestling thing, when did you fall in love with it? And then 2 steps further, when did you say, maybe I'd like to try this?
Okay, so I'll give you kind of the long version here.
We got an
So
hour. You take your time.
perfect. I want to say I had always liked it. I'd always watched it when I was like really young, but when I want to say I was 11 when this happened. The pipe bomb promo, CM
Okay.
Punk, is what made me fall in love as a fan, and I became the biggest Punk fan that that you could find. Looked up to CM Punk as a little kid, and then I was at a live event in Wildwood, New Jersey, right on the boardwalk.
Mm.
I think I was 12 or 13 at this time, and I remember the main event of that was Alberto Del Rio versus Dolph Ziggler for the World Heavyweight Championship. And whatever it was during that match, I'm sitting there, 12 years old, and I said, I'm going to do this one day. This is going to happen for me. So fast forward a little bit, get into high school wrestling, get into jiu-jitsu, start seriously pursuing MMA for a little bit because I did love that too.
Mm-hmm.
And when I got to college, it was just a little bit harder to make that work. Maybe you could argue I fell out of love with it and stopped training. And I always knew when I was in that, when I wasn't doing as much, I was going to get in a professional wrestling ring, whether it was at least once or whether it was forever. And finally got around to it in, as I said, June of 2022. And the second I stepped foot in there, I was just in love with it. This was everything I ever thought it would be and more. And I just can't stop. I go to practice as much as humanly possible. If the door is open, I will be in the ring. This is my passion. This is what I've wanted to do forever. This is what I will do forever. So to finally be at the point in my life where I am a wrestler is just about the coolest feeling in the world, I gotta say.
For sure, for sure. Definitely, if anybody understands where you're coming from, I do. And another thing we can relate on, around that time period, I was a huge CM Punk fan myself. As of today, date of recording 11/23 of 22, what's your feelings on CM Punk as of this recording, sir?
Well, here's the thing. I wasn't back there. I don't know what happened. So it's kind of one of those things that I wouldn't feel comfortable saying, "Oh, he did this and he did this," because I don't know.
Right.
All I maintain with Punk is I will forever be grateful that he is the man that made me want to be a professional wrestler. He was my childhood hero, and I'm not too sure what he's got going on now. I hope he's happy. I hope he's settled. But yeah, that's all I could really say about that.
I got you. Okay, I can appreciate your stance. Again, I wasn't backstage either, but I did watch that media scrum live as it happened. And I was like, dude, you just won the world title in your hometown, and you are grumpy as hell. Like, get you a couple more bites of that muffin and chill out. So, again, I don't know if he walked up and slapped Matt Jackson in the back of the head or what, but I would have thrown an ass whipping on him myself if he was dogging me in front of the media and millions on YouTube and watching around the world. So like I say, I get where you're coming from. I'd watched him in Ring of Honor. I was when the match with Cena, one of my all-time favorites. But yeah, we'll leave it at that. He'll always be a legend, but he's a grumpy one. He definitely is.
Yeah, hey, good point on that match with Cena though. That was dude,
Yeah.
what a banger that was. That
Oh,
definitely one of those matches that cemented me loving wrestling for sure.
For sure. And you mentioned in Ziggler and Del Rio, I was really into that feud until Ziggler got the concussion. I was all on the Ziggler bandwagon when he won the championship and everything. Still a guy that hasn't gotten his due. So let's pull for Dolph Ziggler and hope he pulls something out in the next few years.
Yeah, man, he's a stud, absolute stud. Always was one of my favorites growing up. Just an impeccable athlete,
Yeah.
and everything that he does in that ring is something that I look up to. I actually like to credit him a lot for the way that I sell. I
Okay.
take a lot of that from him. I think he's one of the best sellers I've ever seen, him and Shawn Michaels.
Mm-hmm.
And oh, yeah, what an incredible talent he is.
Yeah, to say the least. And his brother killing it in AEW. He's another underrated one. Shoot, he's got short films out there doing stand up. Nick Namath, the Hollywood Hunk. I'm a fan of his as well.
Yeah, every time he's on the screen, he's entertaining. Every time he's on the screen, and he does a lot of stuff on their YouTube too, I believe. So
Mm-hmm.
good on him.
Yeah, for sure. He's got some weird stuff on Being the Elite. I'm a big fan of weird, and he does weird very well. And that's a good point as well. As far as TV wrestling, when you're not in the ring and everything, do you watch Raw? Do you watch AEW? Do you watch the Indies? Do you watch anything?
See, that's the thing that changes when you get into it. It's not something you actively keep up with. You
Mm-hmm.
know, now that this is what you do. I watch wrestling not as a fan, but as a student of the game.
Mm-hmm.
So I go back and I watch matches, and I'm not going, oh wow, this and this. Oh, I will, but
Mm-hmm.
not as much. It's more, oh, look at this little intricacy he did. I can use this. Um, Watching guys that I think can really benefit me as a wrestler is more of a focus now than anything. Guys like William Regal, Kurt Angle, Chris Benoit, all real technical guys that I like to go back and study.
Aha, I got you. The less Chris Benoit matches, the better. I got you. But I get where you're coming from. The great DD Vice said on this show, porn stars don't go home and watch porn. So I get that point of view. And
That's a cool way to put it. Oh man.
so yeah, that's one way of putting it. I get it because now that I've been on the road a bit and everything, definitely not watching as much as I did because you're busy with other things. But yeah, I still watch my wrestling and just curious to what you was watching. Here's something I
Yeah.
pose other guests sometimes, and this is just a hypothetical, crazy question, but just for my own curiosity, if no one else's. Let's say 3 years from now, there's a bidding war for Jason Hendrix. WWE offers you the same contract, same amount of money as AEW. Where do you go?
See, the same amount of money makes it tough because I was just gonna MJF you and say, oh, whichever one gives me a cent more. Um, Look, I would love to work for either company one
Mhm.
day. It's my dream to be a television wrestler, no matter what. But if I had to pick, I grew up as a UE fan. Not that I don't appreciate what they're doing in AEW, but I would have to go with WWE.
I got you. I got you. Yeah, that's why I put the same amount of money deal in there. So you're going to be touring more. You're going to be on the road more with WWE. That's the only drawback that I can figure out. But Lord knows. Lord knows where both of them will be by then and where you'll be by then. 3 years,
The
let's see where
the,
you're at.
the schedule I've heard is tough,
Hmm.
but and you need to be in love with wrestling to do that.
For sure.
I absolutely am in love with wrestling. So I'm not saying I could easily handle that schedule because it seems like it would be hard on anybody. But if anyone can take it, I think I'd be a definite candidate for it. So yeah, that's definitely something I'd love to do one day. At the end of the day, any opportunity I'm getting in between now and whenever my career is over, I am grateful for. Whether it's Rise, VCW, IWA, or AEW, WWE, New Japan. I'm just looking to wrestle and do what I love in front of people. How many people? For now, that doesn't really matter as long as I'm in there. So, yeah, we'll have to see where the road takes me.
It's going to be an interesting journey to follow, and I'm down for the ride. Out in Jersey, go into that a little bit for me because I've been watching what I can. here and there. Like you say, it's a busy life, so watching what I can. But it looks like you've made some homies out on the circuit out there. Looks like you're part of either a faction or a tag team. What's going on out in Jersey for you at the moment?
Yes, I am part of a faction. We are called Lion Core. It's myself, Jaden Staley, and Justin Bon Jovi. Both also awesome talents. Love working with them and good friends of mine. You can catch us pretty much weekly at this point on IWA's YouTube channel, IWA Intensity. And you can catch all talents individually as well at IWF shows. Both are based in New Jersey. Both are great promotions. Love working for them. Yeah, so we have a ton of fun. It's always good to go out there and do what you love with your friends and kind of bring your creativity together and think of stuff. And that's what's cool about tag team wrestling is that you've got all these cool ideas, you're passionate, and then you bring someone else that's equally as passionate into the fold, and then you've got all these new ideas.
Oh.
Um, so it's kind of a thing where you got a little think tank going on to an extent, and we've had a blast so far. So as I said, if you want to check out Lion Core IWA Intensity on YouTube, they we weekly shows currently, so we're on there.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah. So how does that work for them? Are they doing TV tapings? Are you going out there and working every week? How they set that up?
Oh, they are pre-taped. Yeah. Driving back to New Jersey on a weekly basis would be quite difficult. So at the last show, we had pre-taped everything for the next few months leading into our next live show, where I believe before the show starts and the fans are let in, we will do the same.
Oh, okay. Cool. I like it. I like it. It's a proven formula. It's always worked for the biggest of feds to the smallest. So I dig it. I'll be checking it out myself, see what Lion Core is up to. And for the folks that don't know, I mean, you're only year one in the business here. You're still going to college, still busting it out. What's the backup plan? Wrestling, let's, God forbid, I don't want to jinx you, but something happens where you can't wrestle. What's the backup plan? What are you going to college for?
Yeah, I go to college. I would say my degree is marketing, but I'll explain it a little bit more in depth. It's called um, multidisciplinary studies. So it's a combination of minors that create a major. My minors are marketing, advertising, and communications. So it's essentially a marketing degree that I like to think is a little bit more diverse, gives me a little bit more options.
Mm-hmm.
And I am looking to go to grad school next year for integrated marketing communications. So I'll get my master's in that, be working in marketing, potentially in sports marketing, because I'm a huge sports fan.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, it's funny that I'm going out to get a master's degree, and I still like to consider it Plan B. Um, but I love wrestling, man. It's all I've ever wanted to do. So I'm going out accomplishing what I need to accomplish academically, while still pursuing my dreams. I kind of like that. There's a lot of safety to the plan while still going all in on what I love.
For sure. And what you're looking at in school will definitely come in handy in the wrestling business as well.
Yeah, absolutely. In professional wrestling, you are a brand and you need to know how to market yourself and present yourself the proper way.
Mm-hmm.
And that's exactly what I study in school. So I would absolutely agree that marketing has gone hand in hand with wrestling, especially because, you learn to be a people person with a degree like that. And wrestling, people don't say this enough, wrestling is sales. You're selling the idea of yourself to the fans. And if you can't do that, you're not doing your job. So the little things that you can take from school definitely help out there and give you a unique perspective as a performer on how to operate.
Makes sense. Makes sense. And you mentioned the fans being so early in your career. Uh, what's the relationship been like from the fans with the fans?
So far, seems like I get booed a lot, huh? I don't know. Yeah, that's what I've always wanted. That's kind of how I've always pictured my wrestling career going. I'm not exactly built to be a fan favorite, and that's ideal. That's fine. Uh, but it's cool. I've had fans come up to me and ask for pictures after shows, which is still something that you're going, whoa, like really? That's crazy. So that's interesting. You'll sometimes I'll be out like at a bar just locally hanging out with my friends, and I'll have someone come up to me at the bar and say, hey, like you're the kid who wrestles that goes to school here. I'm like, that's me. So it's kind of cool to be at the stage so early in my career and to get recognized at times is absolutely an honor, and I appreciate everyone who's supported me so far because I have been incredibly fortunate that taking such a big leap in my life. I have a lot of really good friends, both in New Jersey and at West Virginia, that have been incredibly supportive of me every step in the way. Whether that's in or out of the business, because I've had some people in the business that have been very good to me so far, and my friends that are out of it that are buying tickets to go see me wrestle been amazing too. So, you really can't do something like this without support from really good people. And I'm lucky that I've created such a good circle around me in life because without them, I couldn't do anything.
Oh yeah, oh yeah, definitely. You hit the nail on the head with that. You're exactly right on that. So it sounds like you're having a good experience with them in person for the most part and everything. Have we run into any online idiots yet?
Oh God, man, where do I start?
Oh, have
Where
at
do
it.
I start? You should see my Facebook messages, man.
Yeah.
Oh, and Instagram. Just people messaging you. I had one guy that just out of nowhere just screw you, asshole, and I opened it up and I'm like, come on, man. I think I responded. I usually don't respond to fans that send me whatever stuff online. But I'm like, okay, this popped me a little bit. So I'm like, hey, buddy, can't we be friends? And then he just starts going off on me. And I'm just sitting there cracking up, showing my friends, like, this guy is so mad. um, so yeah, it's definitely been interesting so far, but uh, I've had some funny experiences. One guy just out of nowhere hits me up. I saw it. I didn't respond to this one. Just like, hey, bro, I think we need to go to Vegas, man. And I open it up. Never spoken to this guy in my life, and I'm like, why do you and I need to go to Vegas? So it's been very interesting so far, but I am at the end of the day appreciative that anyone is taking the time to watch what I do because I work very hard at what I do. So whether they're sending me something very aggressively worded or not, um, I'd like to go ahead and say thank you for watching because it does mean the world.
For sure, because to a wrestling fan, there's a lot to choose from right now. So if they're picking some random indie in West Virginia, PA, or Jersey, and picking Jason Hendrix out of the mix, or Lioncore, or however they're watching you, like you say, definitely the competition's out there, and I like hearing that you're appreciative of both the negative and the positive.
Yeah, and especially considering I would like to say at this point, like I'm kind of more active on the Pittsburgh independent scene than
Mm-hmm.
I am the New Jersey one because I'm out there. It just kind of makes more sense.
Mm-hmm.
Um, you look at the Pittsburgh independents, and there are some absolute studs. I am wholeheartedly of the thought that a lot of the guys you're seeing on the independents in Pittsburgh are going to be on TV,
Oh
and it's
yeah.
going to be like, wow, that crop of guys is just incredible. So, to get noticed out here, out there, whatever you want to say, absolutely an honor and a big deal.
For sure. The Pittsburgh scene, it's always been great, but right now, like you say, there is a lot of very, very talented guys and gals on the Pittsburgh scene. I could go on all day about that. Same with West Virginia. I mean, it's everywhere. Like I say, wrestling's never been in a better place. I wholeheartedly mean that. I say it every episode. Wrestling is in a damn good place because we have humanity evolving before our eyes, and We're weeding out some of the bad weeds, and seems like a lot of good folks in the business from what I can see. So, yeah, you definitely, it's a good time for you to hop into things and get up in the mix.
Oh, absolutely. I've heard multiple times that I have chosen the best possible timing wise, to get into the business with everything going on. With WWE's products just getting so good
Hmm.
lately, and also with AEW being there, bringing competition. There's more places to work,
Hmm.
and that's good for everybody. The more that people have the opportunity to go out there, get paid, get food on their plate, and get exposure, the better for everybody, because uh, this business is very much a networking based business.
Yeah,
Somebody that's going to help you get somewhere. So the more places there are to work, the more potential there is that somebody ends up somewhere. And if you're the kind of person that works very hard and is respectful and professional, you're more likely to get recommended to go somewhere. So at the end of the day, it's not just riding off their coattails. You have to be a professional, but as long as you're doing that, you'll get somewhere in today's industry, and I wholeheartedly believe that.
for sure, for sure. That made another hypothetical pop in my head. I think this is a good one. You get the call from somebody, hey man, you're needed for the AEW Dark tapings, and they're going to let you pick anybody on the roster to work on AEW Dark. Who you going to work?
Oh gosh, that's a good one. If I'm going not matchup wise, but purely as a fan, so I'll
Hmm.
give you two answers. I'll give you my fan answer.
Sure.
My number one guy when I was younger, after Punk left, was Dean Ambrose.
Hell yeah.
So I would have to go Moxley, just based off that. But if we're going off like what I think would be a good matchup for me, in terms of what I do in the ring, oh, I'm trying to think, dude. Their roster's so big, it's
Yeah.
kind of hard to pin someone down.
A lot of good
Um,
workers.
oof. I might just have to leave Moxley there for now, because I just have so many people in my head, um, that it's hard to think overall.
I hear
But
it.
I can give you a couple dream matchups for me just in the business in general.
Uh huh.
Um, One I've been thinking of a lot lately. I would love to work with Zack Saber Jr.
Oh yeah.
Um, just I'm a big fan of technical wrestling and holds, especially with my jujitsu background. That's a big thing for me, and I can't think of anyone. Actually, yes, I got one. There we go. AEW, Brian Danielson. There
There
it
you
is.
go.
That's my number one,
Hell
hundred
yeah.
percent. No doubt in my mind about that one. One of my favorites growing up as well, and just an absolute talent on the mat, incredibly technical. Similar size and stature to me as well. So I think him and I could absolutely burn the house down if I ever had the opportunity to get to go in there with him.
Never say
It's
never.
kind of funny talking through that. I was like, wait a second, there he is. Okay.
There you go. Hell yeah, man. He's I'm so glad to see that guy still doing his thing. I was probably watching him maybe before you were even born. I was watching TV out of Texas. I was a tape trader, and I was watching the American Dragon, not even Brian Danielson back then, in a mask, the American Dragon, tag teaming with Spanky, even before he hit ROH, and I knew that he would be somebody, and he definitely turned out to be somebody and a half, I'd say.
Oh, absolutely, man. Funny enough, I think 13, 14, I went to go. I met him as a fan at a book signing, and I actually had him sign an action figure at the time, when I was younger. So it would definitely be a really cool first full circle thing to get to go in there with someone that I've looked up to so much, and someone that I admittedly steal some stuff in the ring from,
Uh-huh.
and mix it up.
Hell yeah. Well, like I say never. Anything can happen in this business, man. And you've got the drive, you've got the talent, you've got the head on your shoulders. It could very well happen. Well, but your time is limited because he says in an interview just this past week that he's looking to kind of slow things down here soon. So Who knows? Who knows? I don't want to turn it negative here, but who knows? I know he beat the hell out of Sammy Guevara.
Yeah, yeah. Look, it'd be cool, but the dude does not need to wrestle. He is, I'm sure, set, has a great life. He does it because he loves it. So I would totally understand um, if he retired in the next few years. But that's what's great about, as I said, there being such a wealth of talent right now that if Bryan Danielson were to retire, I would still have a million matchups that I think would be awesome out there. So
Oh, for sure.
there's really no shortage of good wrestling at the moment.
For sure, for sure. Hey, in a perfect world, here's what I'm booking for my fantasy fed. Jason Hendrix, AR Fox. Oh shit.
Oh man, hey, he's talented, dude. He's
Oh
really.
my.
I would love to mix it up with AR Fox for sure.
Oh yeah. Yup. Yup. So happy that dude finally gets a major contract, gets an opportunity. Even if he doesn't get an opportunity to shine, I'm glad he's making some decent money now.
So is he fully signed then to AW?
Yep, just came out after his match Wednesday, I think. It was sometime during last week they put out the graphic that AR Fox is all elite.
Good for him. He's been a very incredible in-ring talent for years now. I remember, I think the first AR Fox match I ever watched, I was probably 14, 15 years old. I'm 22 now.
Mm-hmm.
So he's been around a very long time. And it's always good to see somebody who has paid their dues and done what they needed to do get their opportunity.
For sure. For sure. And yeah, and that's what I do like about AEW. Guys like Eddie Kingston, AR Fox, these guys finally getting their opportunities.
Absolutely. They bring in a lot of guys. So it's definitely been good for a lot of the independent wrestlers to go in there and get TV exposure, even if it's only for a week or two. It's great. And even just getting on AEW Dark helps a lot of the guys who are earlier in their careers, like myself,
Mm-hmm.
which one day, hopefully, I will be on that. We'll see. Um, yeah, it's definitely been good for the business.
For sure, for sure. And these just keep making me get these hypotheticals in my head. And I'm going to throw you a tough one, and I want you to
Okay.
answer. And I want you to answer it as honestly as you can. This is we're talking real here, and nobody's going to think anything either way because this is a rough one I thought up, but got to throw it out to you. You
Sure.
get okay. You get a call from Brett Lauderdale. GCW is short one man, but you can't be in none of the scramble matches. Nope. We got a spot against Nick Gage in a death match. What do you do?
Oh, look, man.
I told you it's
Here's
a
the
tough
thing.
one.
I got a thing that day. No. Look, GCW, a lot of great viewership. They draw good crowds, and yeah, they're actually in Jersey out here.
Mm-hmm.
Um, personally, deathmatch wrestling isn't what I aspire to do.
Right.
I give it no disrespect. It's definitely got its place in wrestling,
Mm-hmm.
but I am not a deathmatch wrestler. I will be the first one to tell you that. Big respect to Nick Gage because what that guy does is unbelievable. But I I don't know if I can match that energy, man.
I got that. That was a test right there, and good wording. Good wording. Like, I definitely get it. I've had a fluorescent light bulb broken over my back once, and that was enough. It's not the cut that gets you; it's the explosions. What I found out. So yeah, I'm good on deathmatch wrestling. I'm good on any wrestling. I'm nowhere near y'all's level, but yeah, I definitely understand
Yeah,
what you're saying.
it's already tough enough taking the bumps we take and doing the spots we do. Once you start throwing light tubes and pizza cutters in the mix, that's when it's like, okay, maybe I've bit off a little more than I can chew here.
I appreciate that. I do. I do. So, with it, let's look a year down the road. Where would you like to be in the pro wrestling business a year from now? What's some short term goals for you?
Yeah, that's a good question. Obviously, my long term goal is to get signed to TV, whether it is WWE, AEW, New Japan. Really, I would go anywhere because I love this business, and that's the end of it. But
Mm-hmm.
in a year, I would like to just be consistently wrestling for probably larger independent companies, hopefully with a dark match or two under my belt, a little bit of TV exposure.
Hmm.
I'm in by no means a rush to get where I need to be. I as soon as I can, I will. Don't get me wrong, but hopefully just working very reputable independent promotions. Can't say I'm not already. I'm very fortunate.
Hmm.
Um, and consistently doing so and getting matchups with really good guys, and that's all I can really ask for in a year's time. And I think in 2023, I can't divulge too much,
Hmm.
but there are some good plans, some big plans too, and those are things that I'm just going to have to allow to unfold in front of the fans, in front of the people. So by all means, if you're not already following me on social media, subscribe to my YouTube channel. Please do so because you don't want to miss what's coming in 2023.
For sure, for sure. I was checking out your YouTube channel, and I know you're a busy guy, going to school, working matches. But if I may make a small recommendation, I'm a big fan of wrestling vlogs. Has that been anything that's popped in your head, maybe in the future?
Absolutely. I plan to go into all different kinds of content. I just want to make sure that when I do so, the time is right. I'm not going to half-ass anything.
Hmm.
So until I sit down and fully flesh out, here's exactly what I want to do and here's why I want to do it. Um, it won't be there, but absolutely, vlogs, potentially skits. Who knows? There is a world of potential, and I'm just going to kind of let the creative process play itself out. I don't want to rush any content out there.
Hmm.
Um, but yeah, no, that is absolutely something that we could see coming down the line.
For sure, for sure. And plus, at your, you're just getting started. You don't want to be the guy just getting started. You're brand new in this locker room and bringing your camera in and recording the locker room and stuff. So I definitely, yeah, time will tell on that. I get where you're coming from on that.
Exactly. That's probably a good way to look at it too, because I've always been a very respectful guy. That's what I do. So
Hmm.
you got to feel a place out before you get real comfortable there, and I'm still very much in the feeling out process.
Yep, I can relate. In New Kensington, I kept looking at MV's Enjoy Championship, and I kept thinking, man, I want to take a picture of that. But I didn't want to whip out my phone. You know how tight that locker room was back there. I didn't want to be taking pictures and, my first night backstage and everything taking pictures. So I didn't take a picture of the Enjoy Championship out of respect. I'm sure it wouldn't have been no big deal, but I definitely get where you're coming from on that.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Just got to make sure, even on small stuff, you never know
Mm-hmm.
what's gonna like fall out of line. So get a feel for the people first before you start getting too comfortable and sink too deep into your seat.
Huh, that's a good point because I definitely could not get a feel for MV Young. He was kind and everything, but I could not read that man.
He's been cool in all the interactions I've had with him. Frankly, I don't even know if I've had the opportunity yet to speak to him, but we've been in the same locker room in multiple places, and he works a lot, so he's absolutely someone I would like to get to know.
For sure, for sure. Super talented dude, giving a lot of other guys opportunities as well. So, yeah, I've said it many times on the podcast. Big fan of MV Young. While we're talking about vlogs, Dustin Waller and Miracle Generation just started up an awesome vlog I'd recommend to folks. And your link tree will be in the description. So just scroll down, check out Jason Hendrix YouTube, Instagram. Uh, Shoot, they're setting up all kinds of new social media now, waiting for Twitter to die. So I'm sure you'll be hopping on those as well.
Yeah, yeah, I'll be on everything. I am on everything currently, and I will be honest, nothing to do with Elon Musk or nothing. Never been a Twitter guy. Never been a Twitter guy.
Hmm.
I'm on there, but I've always been more Instagram's my favorite one for sure. And you can find me pretty active on there on Facebook. I am on Twitter. Go follow me anyways, but it won't be my main spot. And yeah, whatever pops up in the future, Jason Hendricks will be available on that platform.
See, me, I never messed with Facebook. I had Facebook years ago. I don't think I've been on there for 10 years until recently. I've always been, for the past 3 or 4 years, I've built up quite the following on Twitter and made a lot of great friends, met a lot of great people on Twitter. So I'm pulling for you, Twitter. Keep your head above water, man. That's my social media right there. So I'm pulling for Twitter to keep its head afloat.
Yeah, and see, the thing is with Twitter, it just seems like something I would enjoy more.
Mm-hmm.
I am, and I have always been very ADHD. Things just pop into my head, and I blurt them out. So in theory, that would lend itself incredibly well to Twitter. But me and Twitter we never got off on the right foot for whatever reason. So
I get it.
just never clicked that way for me.
Hey, different strokes for different folks. So I see your YouTube's going to be popping off, no doubt in my mind. You, I'm not on Instagram myself, probably will be eventually. Seems like your Facebook's doing well. You've got, you know what you're doing. You've got all the tools at your disposal, so do your thing.
Yeah, I appreciate that. Just want to make it so the people who are cool enough to go and say, "Hey, this kid's talented. I want to check him out," have the ability to do so. So, everything that I can get online, I do.
For sure. Good, good. Like I say, you know what you're doing. And again, only year one in the business. Again, when I was watching the pre-show for fight, I said, "Oh, okay, I like this guy." And so, not to toot my own horn, but I've been watching wrestling since 1991. So, if it makes you feel any better, if you got my attention when I was in a very stressful situation, so I appreciate you pulling me out of that and letting me enjoy some wrestling for a moment because I was definitely out of my element at VCW.
Hey, well, I do appreciate you taking the time to watch my match and all the complimentary stuff you've been putting on social media about me
For,
because it really does matter having eyes on you in this business. And it's people who take the time and say like, "Hey, I think this kid's got something," that make it go from being a diamond in the rough to being someone that is of everybody on a consistent basis. So I do thank you for that.
you're certainly welcome. I'm glad I could be that guy because I have all the faith in the world in you. Like I say, the indie scene needs more cocky, asshole, good looking dudes. You fit the mold. Let's just send you off to the races.
Thank you. And hey, I love being that cocky asshole. So tune in wherever I'm at, y'all. I'll be there.
Watch the cocky asshole in action, by God.
Yeah, that would be me. That would be me.
Hell yeah. We're rounding out the year. 2022's coming to a close. What's been your favorite? Okay, two-parter. What's been your favorite wrestling memory for yourself? And what's been your favorite wrestling memory of wrestling in general that you've enjoyed?
Are you talking about 2022 or like my whole life?
As far as just this year.
Okay.
And we'll go to that
it's
too. Go ahead and answer that too. We still got 15 minutes to kill here.
okay. So my whole life I was at a lot of shows when I was younger, so going fan wise, going to Money in the Bank when Rollins won the briefcase was pretty cool.
Hell yeah.
Uh, that was probably my favorite show I've seen in person. Um, this year, see, I've been very fortunate this year. I've gotten a lot of good opportunities in different promotions. Got to work Tony Atlas in my second match ever.
Whoa.
Yeah,
Okay.
that was
Bef-
definitely a cool one.
Before we get
Um,
ahead of ourselves, huge Tony Atlas fan. Dude cracks me up. Tell me anything and everything you can tell me about meeting, working Tony Atlas, please.
Tony Atlas is one of those guys. He walks in the locker room and he just immediately starts like cracking jokes and got a smile on his face. And he was, yeah, he's a hoot, man. He probably cracked 10 jokes to me before he even was like, "Wait, oh, we're working together tonight." Um, so definitely had a positive experience working with him, and he was nice enough to give me advice as a young wrestler after my match.
Mm-hmm.
Um, that one's not available to watch online yet, but I'm sure it will be posted. That was in the IWF. Myself and Benjamin T. Asher, another person that you should definitely check out, has a lot of potential. You can catch us both on IWF versus Kevin Knight and Tony Atlas for the tag team championships.
Oh wow, cool.
Unfortunately, we fell a little short. But we had a good match and definitely had a blast being out there.
How cool. In your second match ever, you're working Tony Atlas. Did you get the butterflies there?
Um, so I definitely would say I was a little bit nervous before the match.
Hmm.
Um, I was fortunate enough. That was supposed to be my first match, but I got the call to wrestle on the Rise pre-show for my first one, just the day of.
Okay.
I was there to help out because obviously, I train in the Rise system.
Hmm.
So it was just, hey, they call me Sunshine there because I've never seen it, but remember the Titans. So they're like, Sunshine, like grab your gear, you're working. So went out there, got acclimated, got in front of a crowd, which was good before that. But yeah, definitely would say to be in such a prominent position on the card with such little experience was a little bit daunting. But fortunately, I've always been a guy that public speaking never scared me. Crowds never really intimidated me. Um, just making sure, I did put on a good show, put a little pressure on. But since then, that was another great experience to just help me get more and more comfortable out there.
Wow, that's awesome. That is awesome. So, okay, now we'll circle back around. That has to be in the contenders for your personal favorite wrestling memory, but what takes the gold for favorite wrestling memory so far in 2022?
And see, here's the thing. I'm going to give kind of a complicated answer here. It's less of a specific memory and just more of kind of reaching that point where in the ring as a performer, I started to feel things really click for me.
Hmm.
And that's more in practice than anything else. That's got to be what takes the cake. Because the confidence I have now, um, 8 matches in, is different than the confidence I had with 6, different than the confidence I had with 3.
Hmm.
I feel myself coming along as a performer and as an individual. And oh God, it's I just love this so much, and I love progress so much, not just in wrestling but in life. I'm a big self improvement guy.
Hmm.
That to be where I'm at right now, I love it, and I am so excited to see where I'm at when I have 20 matches down, when I have 30, when I have 40. So I would really have to say it's not as much a specific thing and just more kind of finding my footing has been my favorite part of the year.
Good, good. I'm happy for you, man. That's good. That's good stuff because again, 8 matches in. I like again not to toot my own horn, but I like to think that I can notice little intricacies and different things in wrestling, and definitely you don't look like a rookie to me by any means. So you're doing something right.
Thank you, man. I appreciate that. As I said, I'm going to be that guy no matter where I'm at that is the hardest worker in the room. So um, I will progress as quickly as I have the ability to under my own control. So I've worked really hard to come along as quickly as I can. And with that being said, I still have a lot to learn. I still have a lot to work on.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of people let not being where exactly they want to be, being at the finish line, they let that drag them down a little bit. But it's more where you have to get that excitement about it, saying, oh my gosh, like I can't wait to be at the point in my progression where I'm doing X and I'm doing Y and I'm doing Z. And that's kind of more how I look at it. So I am just pumped to keep this going, man.
Hell yeah, good, good. And you say you're a big self improvement guy, and I can appreciate that. If there's one piece of advice besides the finish line deal, I like that you can give my listeners that worked out for you that you think might work for them. What could you pass on to my listeners?
Okay, so generally, life advice. Whoever you are, it doesn't really matter. You got to just own it. You know, um, people will appreciate confidence more than anything else. So go out, be an individual, be a little weird. And, at first, when you start really letting um, your full self out there, let's say, because there's a lot of stuff that, you'll bottle up for a long time. Once you are completely and unapologetically yourself, at first, people might be a little bit like, oh, what's going on? And I promise you, give it a month, give it 2 months, and people are going to respect the hell out of the fact that you own yourself. And that's one thing I kind of found with wrestling. Whenever it became, oh my God, he's a wrestler now, it was kind of a mixed reaction at first.
Mm-hmm.
But now where I'm at, people that, don't really watch wrestling come up to me all the time and express, hey, man, I think what you're doing is really cool. I think it's really cool that you're chasing your dreams, and I think you have a lot of potential doing so. So go out there, chase your dreams, be unapologetic about it, and you're going to find so much more happiness in life doing what you want to do than pretending to be someone you're not.
Yeah. Nope. You're exactly right, because I can relate to that more than you know. For years, I thought maybe I'll do a wrestling podcast, and I thought there's so many wrestling podcasts. Why would somebody care what I have to say? First podcast, I finally did it. I had my reasons for doing it, but just because it was too much to type on Twitter, I had to talk, and some people enjoyed that. So we did another, and yeah, I'm at that point. You said be unapologetically yourself, and I can be corny, I can be weird, I can wear my heart on my sleeve, but it's working out for me. So yeah, I like where you're coming from.
Hey, man, you're going to have a much better time as a human being putting out the energy that is true to yourself and attracting people with that same energy than putting out something that isn't 100% you and attracting the wrong people. And that's one of those things you got to learn through trial and error, because you spend so much time worrying about, oh, what's everyone going to think if you're doing whatever it is you want to do.
Mm-hmm.
That doesn't matter. If they are the people that should be in your life, they will stick around no matter what. So that's something that everyone out there should just keep in mind. And that is something I also, as I kind of touched on earlier, I am super, super fortunate that I have a lot of people that pick up the energy I put down. I have a lot of very good friends that I have a lot of respect for. And as I said, I couldn't do it without their support. So I got those friends by being myself. So if that message resonates with anyone out there, I hope it helps you out a little bit with that.
Good. I appreciate that more than you know. I do. And I've kept you almost an hour before I let you go. Jason Hendrix, let the folks know where they can find you. Anything you want to sell, by all means, sell it. The floor is yours. Promote, make your money. Whatever you want to do, it's all yours, my man.
Awesome. Hey, I won't touch too much on specifics. I won't waste too much time. The link tree should be in the description to this video.
I promise.
All you have to do, go subscribe to my YouTube, follow me on my platforms of social media, and anywhere that you want to see me, I promise you I'll be available. And you can find that out by checking out my social media. If you're in New Jersey, December 10th, New Brunswick, New Jersey, come watch me at IWF. I take on the Punisher, Zay Spalding, and I promise you it ain't going to be pretty. So come on by. Let's do this thing.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah. I appreciate it more than you know. It's been an honor and a privilege. And like I say, I very much look forward to watching your journey. I'm glad I jumped on the bandwagon while there was still room. And my listeners, I'm sure as well, will be watching your journey. My platform is your platform. Anytime you want to come back on, you're more than welcome to. And I wish you nothing but the best. I know, like I say, you got a good head on your shoulders. You got the look, you got the talent, you got the charisma. You're the total package. To the moon for Jason Hendrix. I wish you nothing but the best, my man.
I appreciate that, man. I thank you for taking the time to talk to me today, and wish you the world with your podcast, bro.
Thank you, sir. And I'm sure we'll see each other down the road, if not before. And to my listeners, you heard it from Jason Hendrix. Be yourself, live your dreams, and if I can add one to that, be kind to each other. And again, just whatever you want to do it. As long as you ain't hurting nobody or hurting nobody's feelings. You do you. I'm Spooky Lou. You've heard just Jason Hendrix. WrestleRoni. Coming up on the next episode, we got no BS Gannon Green. Been my pleasure, sir. Hope you have a good one.